It's related to your children. I write those words down in my leather-bound journal, sitting in the silence of my grand royal library, surrounded by centuries of forgotten knowledge. Outside the high-arched windows, a massive full moon hangs over the estate, casting long silver shadows across the polished floor. I have spent years in this room, recording the memories of a long life. But my mind always wanders back to that one fateful night. I could not sleep. Seeking solace, I had gone down to my private quarters to swim in the soothing heat of my indoor pool. The warm water offered a fleeting moment of peace, but the restlessness inside me remained. Drifting out into the cool night air of the palace gardens, wrapped only in my silk robe, I looked up at the pale sky. That was when I saw them. Two silhouettes emerged from the heavy mist rolling across the grounds. A man, cloaked and weary, walking alongside a creature so immense it looked less like a dog and more like a creature of the wild. He approached me without hesitation. His voice was thick with exhaustion, yet it carried an unmistakable weight. "I have walked for longer than you can imagine," he said, his eyes hollow with fatigue. "I am so tired. I need a place to rest before the sun rises, before I can continue my journey. Can you help me?" I stared at him in disbelief. I was a nobleman, the master of this grand estate, accustomed to deference and reverence. "Who are you?" I demanded, my pride wounded by his sheer audacity. "How dare you step into my private domain in the dead of night, and not even know whose gates you have crossed?" Yet, despite my indignation, there was something about his eyes, and the silent, watchful beast at his side, that stayed my hand. I could not turn him away into the cold. So, I opened the heavy doors to my palace and guided the weary stranger inside, unaware of the shadow he was bringing into my home. I led him upstairs to one of the guest chambers. He sat down heavily on the edge of the bed, looking around the opulent room with hollow, indifferent eyes. "I am so very tired," he whispered, his voice barely more than a breath. "I have walked and walked, covering miles beyond measure." He slowly pulled back his sleeve, exposing his forearm. There, etched deep into his skin, were two distinct, unmistakable bite marks. "Many years ago," he continued, looking down, "at the scars, I met a man. He bit me, and he drained the blood from my veins. And though it happened so long ago, I can still feel it. The marks have never truly healed. Ever since that night, throughout all these endless years of wandering, I can still feel his teeth sinking into my flesh. I can feel him draining me over and over again." A cold shiver ran through me. He was immortal, bound to a curse that never eased its grip. I found myself pulling up a chair, leaning in closer, utterly captivated and terrified by his words. The stranger lifted his head and met my gaze with dark, hypnotic eyes. "Show me your arm," he commanded softly. As if under a trance, unable to resist his voice, I slowly raised my hand and rolled back my sleeve. The stranger leaned forward, took my arm, and sank his teeth deep into my skin, and the dark world slipped away into silence.